And hi folks, this is John, and thank you so much for coming by today. And I wanted to do another cartooning video. Now in this video, I thought maybe I could get a little bit more detail about the process. So you can see I'm using MyPaint. It doesn't matter, use whatever drawing program you like. But you can see this is the first layer, and I'm doing it real light. It's not very opaque. I turned down the opacity quite a bit. And I wanted to talk more in this video about the process of the cartooning. So what we're looking for here is just the big shapes. Try and look for the circles and the curves. You can see I put the ear on. All these Harvey characters like Casper and Hot Stuff and Richie Rich, they all had basically the same head. So kind of once you learn the shape, you got it. Where they have those kind of puffy cheeks. So you can see in this layer, I'm just trying to place everything. Where's the smile? Where's the eyebrows? Now this eyebrow is kind of a little more devilish, which certainly fits him. And you can see that this is not going to be the final layer. This is just the sketching layer, just to start to fit everything. I didn't like those eyeballs, so I decided, it'd be better if he was looking at the viewer. Now there's the real important step. We flipped it. And you can see that shoulder's got to come way up. That neck looked really weird on the side. The rest of it's not too bad. You see I'm playing around. I tried the pencil and I really didn't like that. So I had to go with a different, I think I went with pointy ink. Oh, too big, so we'll make it smaller. And I want to do a little better job with the inking step here. Now, this is not the final inking step. This is the second step, kind of the sloppy inking step. But it's going to let me really refine the character and start to see where everything goes and where I want it for the final step. And if you were doing this on paper, you can see I fussed around with these eyes a bit to try and get the shape exactly like I wanted them. But the problem with doing this on paper is, or the thing about doing it on paper is, if you're doing it with pencil and then you ink over it, it can be very hard to get rid of all those pencil lines. Digitally, what's nice is I'll just take out the layer and you'll never see them. You'll never know they were there. Now the question is, well, of course, if you're doing traditional art, can you get rid of the pencil lines? Absolutely. You put it on a light box and you trace over it on another piece of paper. And that way you don't have to worry about having those pencil lines. Or sometimes even what I would do is I would trace it on a piece of paper with the light box and then flip it over and ink it. So I'm inking like the reverse of the pencil side. I don't know if that makes sense. And then I just had no pencil lines. Now you can see I kind of liked this stage, so I made it a lot less opaque. I made it really, really light and gray. Just barely there, because I want to see it. Oh, see, look at that nose. I tried it. Control Z is your best friend here. So now I'm at the final inking stage. And you'll see, because it's the final stage, like with this mouth, it took me a few tries to get it the way I wanted it. Made the smile a little bit bigger. And I tried the fill tool here. What I noticed about the fill tool was it kind of left a little border around the edges, like it didn't go all the way. There might be a setting that I can adjust for that. I'm sure there is. I'm not sure which one it is yet in MyPaint. But I know in like paint.net I can increase the fill so that it goes a little bit further out and catches all those, goes all the way out to the lines. Yeah, see, I wanted to get this really right. Maybe another option would have been just to use the oval tool there and let it draw a perfect oval for me. That's another possibility. And I'm sure older, I know, cartoonists, they would have had an oval template. In fact, I even have some in my drawer in circle templates to get all that perfect when they were drawing their eyes. Yeah, you can see this one took me a few tries. I wasn't quite happy. There we go. I cleaned it up a little bit. Oh, no. Must not have really liked it. See, that right eye there was too big. I really had to squeeze it down. Okay, now the horns aren't too bad. I went a little bit bigger here. But again, it's those big outer curves on the head that can be a problem. And you'll see it took me several tries. I think I just gave up and, yeah, just drew a curve and then cleaned it up a bit. And, if I was doing this with a brush or a pen, I could probably do it much easier because I could turn the paper. And that's, digital has its advantages, but the disadvantage is almost a physical thing. You can't change the paper and you can't change the direction. Now, if you're using something like an XP pen tablet, you probably could do that. I was just drawing this one with my Wacom tablet. Maybe I'll try one with the XP tablet. My son has one, so we might try that another time. You see, I went with a little thinner line for the interior of the ear. Nice big thick bold line, and I know I played around with that ear like a lot to try and get it right, and it took me forever, and I don't know if I quite got it, but that's just the process. Sorry if I showed too much of that here. Oh, see, I erased too big there. I narrate this afterwards, so it's too hard to draw and think at the same time. In fact, I did trim a little bit out because I had a really hard time getting the top of his head in there. Now, I had no problem getting his chest and his other arm. That wasn't a big deal. Yeah, but this took a few tries. And in fact, I edited some of that out, so it wouldn't be quite so bad. You'd still see I must have left in a couple of attempts there, and then we're going to smooth it out. So I think that's hot stuff for today. I think that's enough. Because the rest of the video was just me. I cleaned up the ear line a little bit and cleaned up the head a little bit and tried to get all that perfect. Okay, here I'm getting rid of the real light layer. And oops, there we go, made a mistake. And then I cleaned up the ear. So just thanks for coming by today, and I hope to have more videos for you in the future. Take care, everybody.